Gangsta now had to spend ages 15 to 21 in one of America's worst juvenile facilities. From here, Gangsta is transported from New Orleans up I-10 to the disgusting Baker, Louisiana, a hot, stinky, sticky, and dangerous jail called LTI Baker. Here, Gangsta was introduced to a new environment, nothing like anything on the streets. In his life, he had gone straight to gunplay and he had never really fought before. But in LTI Baker, everything was about fighting and he had to get down. He recalls riots and major fights between the 3rd Ward, which he claimed, and pretty much everyone else. Overall, it was just a terrible experience and he and his friends did not want to be there. So that's when a fellow 3rd Wardian came up with an idea. Let's break out of jail. So for weeks, a friend named Bryce devised a master plan for him and his 3rd Ward homies to break out of LTI.
He was up there too in juvenile, so Bryce come up with this bright idea, let's break out of jail. I was like, all right, cool. First, we came up with a plan. It was a lady and a man working there. So I heard about you take the little eye drops that you put in it and knock them out. So we are gonna put that in the lady drink. But then I was scared. I was like, no, that lady might die. So then we come up with this idea. Okay, look, get the mop wringer, cause that plastic, that hard plastic, right? So Toto was gonna hit the man over the head, and we're gonna take the keys and try to bail out.
Even though this is a horrible plan, they decide to go for it on a particular night. This is without any idea of how they'll get back to New Orleans, cause it's not like you can walk there. Well, this initial plan did not work out, as Gangsta saw police lights as soon as they tried to do it. So they all backed out at the last minute and figured they needed a better strategy. So this is when Bryce comes up with the perfect plan.
Bryce get the bright idea to get one of his people to come up there and get us. So he said, man, you wanna break out? All right, cool. I heard the SEAL say, Darren Moore, I said, what's up? He said, your uncle called up here, you gonna have a visit tomorrow. He said, man, they up here. I said, all right. So they had all of us come outside and get in a long line. This particular day, they had all the dorm tourists, whoever had to get medication that night, come out, and they made us get in a long 2 lines and walked us all the way up front.
So now the trio was in the medicine line waiting for Bryce's people to show up. As soon as they see the car, they're ready to break off and run towards the exit.
So we sit down, right, and how it's made, it's like a little horseshoe, like a real hospital. A car come out, they got the headlights on. He was like, there they go. I said, no, that ain't them, that's not them, sit down. So I'm nervous, right? I'm like, man. So they come back, say, man, that's them. I said, y'all ready? Let's go. We jump up and take our running towards the front gate.
Now they're all sprinting towards the gate, which is guarded by an overweight officer.
And now I gotta face the man again and try to juke. I went around this little fast cell, hit my head jumping in the car. We head out.
The first step is a success as they juked out the guard, hopped in the car, and took off. Now they're headed through Baton Rouge in a junkyard car that's filled to capacity. As they're driving through North Baton Rouge, they figure that they successfully evaded police. But then they start hearing sirens in the distance that keep getting louder and louder. The police finally start to catch up, and that's when they decide to pull a left on 72nd. They then approach a small bridge, which the driver believes that they won't be able to clear.
So now we going on this bridge in Baton Rouge. Now they behind us now. The man, 2 of y'all gotta get out the car. Toto, the youngest one in the car with us. Toto like, all right, I'ma go. I jump out the car with him.
So now Gangsta and Toto are on foot and running down the bridge. Once the police catch up, they instantly stop chasing the car and begin to chase the 2 on foot.
So as we running down the bridge, I asked Toto, I said, Toto, you wanna jump off now? He said, yeah. So I jump off like, bro, don't get like about the bridge, maybe like highest up here.
So they jump off the bridge, run into a neighborhood, and begin hopping fences. They then take off their LTI shirts and throw them in someone's backyard. Gangsta is smart enough to know that they won't be able to get away on foot, so he comes up with a second plan. As they're sprinting through backyards, he notices a treehouse with a ladder. So he yells at Toto to stop and to climb up with him. So they quickly climb up into the treehouse while police are searching.
We laying down. I hear the deputy guard, whatever, out there. They running somewhere, here go their shirts. Man, mosquitoes tearing us up. We up there, man, I had to use the bathroom bad. And in LTI, they run out of toilet paper now, so we always kept toilet paper in our pocket. So I did a number 2 right quick. He gonna tell me, man, you stink. We up here in the hole, of course, mistake. We right here by each other.
It's steaming hot, it smells terrible, and they're being eaten up by mosquitoes. So Toto's making an understandable fuss, but Gangsta tells him to stay put.
Man, them people somewhere out there, stop talking, man. We need to be quiet till nighttime get here, so we can get out of here.
For hours and hours, they wait patiently in the disgusting treehouse. Then night comes around and Gangsta figures that it's safe to hop down. As they're walking through the neighborhood, Gangsta has a revelation. We won't be able to walk back to New Orleans. So that's when he approaches a random man in the North Baton Rouge neighborhood. But instead of asking him for a ride, he asks him for a screwdriver so he can steal a car.
I said, man, can you help us out? I said, man, we need a screwdriver so we can steal a car.
That's a wild question to ask a random person, but here's how the man responds.
He said, look, man, y'all can't steal nothing around here, but go down there on that corner and wait in the abandoned house. I got somebody gonna come back and gonna bring y'all to go steal a car.
And just like that, they have an escape plan. A random man in North Baton Rouge is gonna help them steal a car so they can get home.
It's like, all right, cool. So we run down the street, go across the hide in the abandoned house. We chilling. I see a police come by. I got nervous a little bit. They kept going. So the brown Cadillac pull up. You go jump in the back. He said, yeah, man, I was in LTI back in the day. He bring us to this club to steal a car. They storm on the glass. The glass was shattered. We pop 2 times that way, pop 1 time that way. Let's go, start up. $5 for gas. Give him $5. So he tell her, go right here and go straight there. So we on it now.
Now, Toto and Gangsta are headed down I-10 towards New Orleans. They have an hour and a half to go without getting pulled over. Can they do it? As they approach the city of Gonzales, Gangsta notices flashing lights in the distance.
We drive. I see some lights up here. I said, man, they got a roadblock. I'm not thinking they ain't gonna have no roadblock for the juveniles back there. We just ran.
Thankfully, it's just a car getting pulled over, but still, Gangsta drives extremely carefully.
I said, let me see. I kept going. They had to pull a car over. So as I'm trying to speed past them on behind the 18-wheelers, another car over. I said, oh, let me slow down. So it's kind of drizzling a little bit. Both hands on the steering wheel, one on the brakes, one on the gas. We kept going all the way till we got to New Orleans. We drove all the way till we got off on the exit on by St. Charles.
Mission Impossible is finally complete as Gangsta and Toto successfully make it back to New Orleans. Now you'd think that they'd be paranoid and would only want to hide inside, but that was not the case at all. Instead, they'd walk around the neighborhood to find their friends, and while doing this, Gangsta saw something he liked.
And I saw this chick with this lady with this fat butt with a skirt on. But Toto was in front of me walking. I'm behind him, so when she got to me, I was like, what's up, boo? So she stopped, talked to me, and Toto laughing. What you laughing about? This was a rainbow person with the breast area. I said, oh, man. And we kept going to go to the project.
What a way to top off such an eventful day. Well, now it's time to go home and get some much needed rest, except that Terrence knows that he cannot go back to his mom's house. So instead, he knocks on his aunt's door and sees if he can stay there. Obviously, she welcomes him in, and this is when he gets a call from his mom.
We go by outside the project, and Denise, my people, she brings us back in the project. So me, Toto, 4 of us in the house. So my mother was looking for me. Mother get on the phone. You all right? Yes, ma'am. You need anything? I said, yes, ma'am. So I wrote her a list, tell her like toothpaste, toothbrush, because I didn't want to use the people's stuff out of the house I was staying in.
Gangsta was advised to stay in the house as much as possible to avoid getting noticed by police and sent back to juvenile. But Gangsta could not sit still, so he decides to leave the house and go back to his old hood.
So that night, I left out. I went back around my old set, Second and Daniel. It had changed within a year because we had got locked up in March. I broke out September of 91, so like a year and 6 months. Things had changed, so everybody, there's a few people out there, they looking at me, I'm looking like, yeah, I'm from this, my set, what's with y'all, you know?
Terrence is not happy that his old hood had been taken over, but he also understands that it was going to happen anyways. So he decides against starting a beef with them and instead decides to start hanging out in the Magnolia projects. And despite the fact that he's on the run for juvenile escape, he decides to go right back to his wild life in the streets. Sadly, Toto opts to do the same thing, but for him, he's arrested in the Callio projects a few days later. Toto is absolutely pissed, especially because he's facing new charges for a gun. In fact, he's so pissed that he asks Terrence to break him out of jail before he can be sentenced. Obviously, this is a terrible idea, but in typical Terrence Williams fashion, he decides to do it.